Okay, so I've got twin 3.5-year-old boys. Marco's pretty much, he was fine, but Alexander was born. So he's bilateral fibular malaise, so he doesn't have fibular bones in both legs. He's got short femurs and he's got a conjoined finger bone, which we've operated on a few times. His right foot that we removed at 2, we're actually about to do the left on the 18th of September, so it's a bit of a hard time, but it just didn't grow. Both feet were born talipes, so we did a lot of work with plaster for the first about 12 months, but it's just not worked out now. We get to the time now where our decision was either we can keep the foot and he's going to have surgery pretty much for the rest of his life, on and off, or we can amputate like we have with the first one. And Alex is a menace to society, as simple as that. I'm not going to deny who he is. He's wild. He has zero fear. A few people have met him and he is crazy. He's the loudest. He's about 8 centimetres shorter than his brother currently, which is significant. Like Alex is about the size of a 2-year-old, but you don't ever tell him he's small. Don't even go there. Alex is at the moment telling us that the doctor, he knows he's going to be amputated for his other foot, and the doctor is going to feed that one to the monster because the monster ate his other foot. So we just let him go with it, and we're okay with it. His brother's actually got a lot of fear, is constantly telling Alex to slow down and settle down and please don't jump off the furniture. It's dangerous, you'll hurt yourself. He doesn't care. Alex is wild. We have to contain him a lot, and that's fine because we're like, he calls his leg his nog because my partner's Serbian name, and so he uses a lot of Serbian words, but it's just his noga. So that's what it is, and he knows he's getting another one, and he's cool with that. Like, he's great with the doctors. Very rarely do we ever have an issue. He walks in, sits up, puts his hand up, puts his legs up, whatever. He had 2 surgeries on his hand in 6 months last year, so we spent a lot of time in plaster, and he did get a bit feral towards the end, so our chill Alex wasn't so chilled. But he's brave, and he knows he is. And Marky lost a tooth the other day, and we never heard the end of it, so we probably won't hear the end of it. His brother's missing leg bones and feet, but Marky's toothless now, so we have a toothless and a legless, so feeling a little bit like the Dragon movie, but, that's who they are, and we're okay with that. And they're really, his leg's his leg, and we know that, and he's excited to get a new one. He's getting an Octonaut's leg. So they do amazing things, the prosthesis people. At the moment we have Lightning McQueen, and we've had a Toy Story leg, and the next one's an Octonaut's, and we're going to have 2 at the same time. So sourcing fabric's fun, but that's what it is. So, yeah.
I've got one question, just quickly. You talk very much about, I suppose, how Alex is coping with that. Mm-hmm. But my question is, really right back from the start, how was Alex's diagnosis handled and communicated to you by the medical staff at the time?
Well, we found out at 20 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
And we did have an amnio to rule out every other thing that could be wrong because we were talking about twins. So we had to think about the other baby as well and where we stood with that. And they did discuss so many things with us. It was a pretty overwhelming experience. But turns out he was just lined up in another line. I don't know what he was getting, but he wasn't getting bones. So he's here, and Alex, they were 32 weekers, so they were pretty small. Alex was 1,100 grams, Marky was 16. So we spent 5 weeks in hospital dealing with preemie issues. They x-rayed him from head to toe at about 2 days old, which was probably still to this day the most horrific experience of our life. So, but Alex was small, and he still is, and we just dealt with it. But twins, it was a different world, because you were thinking about the other child. It's hard to compare them, but they said Alex wouldn't walk till he was about 18 months because his legs were so different and stuff. He walked at 13 months, so his brother only worked a month before him. So in that sense, you don't tell Alex not to do something because he'll just do it twice as hard. So, yeah, we deal with it. And we actually have more issues with Marky. He's a really sensitive little boy. And he already knows he's going to have to go to my sister's, and we have to talk up what his involvement is in Alex's surgeries. We're actually more aware of him sometimes than Alex, because Alex is just, they said it would be 7 days in hospital for his amputation. We're out in 2.5. They kicked us out. He's doing our head in. So we went home on the drugs, and he was climbing the walls. He can't handle this. So we know that this amputation is going to be probably one of the hardest times of our lives, because he's hard to be confined, but maybe being 3.5, he'll understand a bit better, hopefully. So, yeah, we do the best we can, but we actually are more aware of Marky, who's already starting to suffer meltdowns now for the situation that's coming, whereas Alex is like, yeah, whatever, going in, come home, going to have some medicine, plaster. He tries to bribe the doctors not to give him plaster because he hates it. I did wet one plaster, so he was really cranky about that, and he reminds me all the time, you know, you wet that plaster. I'm like, okay, move on. 3.5. But yeah, he's wild. I can't say any more about him. He's loud as well. He's loud as me. My boys are starting 4-year-old kinder next year, and I haven't spoken to anyone. They go to daycare 2 days a week, and Alex is the better like he's more able than his brother. He can jump on 2 feet, his brother can't. And I haven't spoken to anybody, and I'm like, should I be? But I'm just like, we don't treat, but upper to lower limb, such a different situation with what, you know, I mean, I have had someone, you're going to need a wheelchair. I go, wheelchair, God forbid, like, he wouldn't sit in it, like, he won't, he has to run, and he has to run faster and faster all the time, so we're starting 4-year-old kinder in 6 months, and the only thing I did was fight with the hospital that we had this next amputation done, and he was on his new leg prior to starting kinder so that he wasn't disadvantaged. And my son's been in McDonald's, and someone's asked him, how come you've got that Lightning McQueen leg? And he goes, the monster ate it. And that little kid went over to his mum and asked for a Lightning McQueen leg. Like, that's what he wants. So kids are more adaptable than adults. It's the adults. We were at a jumping castle place, and Alex, all the kids were taking their shoes off, so Alex just took his leg off. Like, there it is, just sits it there on the thing. And a few of the other parents, I heard them say, don't stare. And I went, no, your child is free to ask Alex. If he doesn't want to answer, he won't. It's his body, it's his leg. Do not put your fear into the kids. That's all I ever say. And yeah, the kids are sort of more adaptable sometimes than a parent. I still fight with the hospital every single time I'm there. The hospital and I'm sure that it's in my file, crazy mother alert, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay because, you know, if it wasn't for me making the phone calls and harassing this person and asking that, we changed hospitals. We were at Monash, and then we changed to the Children's. He was about, when did I meet you? They were about 11 months, 12 months around that time, maybe 9 months. And I was like, come on, let's get on with this. I'm doing the research in America. They're doing them at 9 months. Why are you holding me back? And they kept saying, we want him to establish a little bit more of the ability to stand and his own balance. And so we went in at 12 months, and they went, yeah, you're miles off. We'll see you again at 18 months. Walked in at 18 months. He ran down that hallway, and they went, shit, the wait list is this amount of time. And they knew that there was a little bit of an issue there, and he was more active than he should have been when we were done. We were done 4 days before Christmas, which was 2 weeks before his second birthday, so it was the most horrific time. My partner and I, 16 years together, separated 2 weeks after that. We all live together still, you know, where we focus on the kids, but having said that, it's still, but I still, just now, they were like, let's do an MRI on this leg, let's do the gait lab, let's do this, let's do that. But we want to do him before he's 4 if we're going to amputate, because mentally that's when it starts kicking in more. And I'm like, he's 3.5, what's going on? And last time I was in there, I kicked up a bit of a stink, and we're now being done in September, but it wouldn't have been done until January, February, which is affecting his kinder and affecting things. But I don't know, every child's different. I've got a friend, he was about 16 months done, yet Alex was nearly 2. Depending on where the limb's missing from, I mean, but you have to be on the ball with that as doctors. They're an amazing hospital, they do amazing things, but you are the person who speaks. And I mean, like I was at Monash, and I pulled the plug on Monash because they just weren't, and the Children's has been a better choice for us. But they just ignored his limb situation. We needed to get him eating, drinking, get him home, focus on those things, prems, you know, the things there. And the limbs really just, he rolled over first, you know. Alex has always been more alert, like, you know, but the limb side of things, really, they just sort of kept sending me away. And I should have fought a little bit more towards that 12 to 18 month mark, which is where I think but I didn't know, but he's no worse off for it now. All right, so it was a horrific 6 weeks of recovery, horrific, but he has no knowledge of that. He doesn't know what went on, we know, and it's what no parent should have to do any day. We cry a lot some days, other days we'll make jokes with him. He doesn't see tears. He doesn't know that I'm yelling at the doctor on the phone in the corner. He doesn't know that I've slammed down a piece of paper and said, why is he a cat 3, not a cat 2? He knows none of this. He just knows he walks in there and says, hi, how you going? You know, let's look at your legs, let's look at this. What are you going to have next? But it's good to meet with the doctor and then just keep going back I'd say 3 months. But then they don't do stuff for a long time.
So that's normal, really?
But don't follow the Americans. Americans do things differently to Australians. And because Alex's condition is very rare and not really readily available, I followed a lot of Americans because that was the groups that were available to me, which is where Therese found me, was on an American group. But they do things completely differently to Australia. But the doctors here at Royal Children's, both that I see, are the most amazing people. I just got to keep them in line. Okay. Alex has had 7 operations since he was born. So he was born at 3.5. He was 3.5. He's had 7. So that's a lot. And there's a big demand on the system. And you go onto wait lists and you're a number. That's it. At the end of the day, you're a number. And like I said, we were done 4 days before Christmas. Like, so be it. That was it. That was when it had to be done. And we all did the best we could with it. But it's hard sometimes that you treat it as a number. Since I now have an email with a nurse who's amazing, and she will have a chat with me and go, here's where we're at, and give me a little bit more information. But when you're talking surgeries and you're talking 2 children, they give you 2 weeks notice at the best of times. Now, how do you take time off work? Your life still goes on, and it's hard because there is also, you sit there and you go, I'm one of how many kids, parents here, but my life still does have to go on as well, so I need a little bit more. So it's hard sometimes, and then at the other end of the scale I go, it's the system. It's an amazing system. It is a public system. If we're living in America, who knows what would be. It's not as the same type of system they have. You have to pay every cent you get, and so we are very lucky to live in the country we do. Absolutely, and what they do is amazing work, amazing doctors. Sometimes it's just hard because you're a number and you get lost a little bit in that system, and you just have to go, hey, hold on a minute, do you remember me? Where are we at? To touch base. Because like I said, we deal with surgeries. Have you had surgeries? No. The surgery side of things, the prosthesis side of things is another whole ball game, which is pretty good. I haven't got any complaints there at all. It's just the surgeries, and it's a system. It's hard.